Welcome to RED35, and today, what are we looking at today, Jimmy?
This, the Lomography Square, Instant Square. You know what? This is the third time we're trying to film the review for this, and we've been trying our very best since Christmas, and the weather has been letting us down. So today we brought Charlie, our lucky charm. You know, hopefully, you know. But actually, if you're watching this, that means we are okay.
We're just outside the Camden Watch Company, who I've actually modelled for before. They're letting us use their lovely front of their shop just to do our little videos. So shout out to them. Thank you.
So Lomography actually launched this Lomo'Instant Square via the Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign, and it was successful, of course, but otherwise you wouldn't see it here. Yeah. And yeah, but I think actually Lomography has done very well in terms of launching the new product via the Kickstarter, because they have been launching really interesting cameras and lenses over the past 2 years. Mm-hmm. And this one I would actually say is one of the most exciting instant product that I've seen in the last couple of years. At least one of them. They're certainly, the look of it, you know, it looks very futuristic, kind of very stylish-ish spaceship pancake looking thing, and it's a foldable camera, so if you flip it out, it actually has that kind of vintage
yeah, I was gonna say it looks like vintage, but like with a modern twist.
Yeah, it's like a 1920 camera recladded with a Star Trek spaceship outer shell. But anyway, this is actually a proper instant camera, and but that means it uses the latest Fujifilm Instax Square films that you put at the back, and it spits out from the top. There's no.
Do you have to shake it?
You don't have to shake it anymore. You know, all the new instant camera, you don't have to do the old Polaroid thing where you have to kind of like shake it. Yeah, actually that's fun though. You know, you kind of like, oh yeah, we just
shake it anyway. It's just for show then, though, isn't it?
I know. But yeah, so this is the latest Instant Square camera, fully manual. There's no gimmick, there's no electronic in terms of like, not like the Fuji's own Instant Square camera SQ1, I think that's what it's called, which is actually essentially a digital camera with a printer. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I think that was an interesting product from Fujifilm's point of view, but I think it kind of upset a little bit a lot of the kind of like the instant photographers who are kind of die-hard fans, where they want things, you know, just take it.
Yeah, because it's not a true film camera then, is it? Like, you're not getting like the experience of
exactly, but I think Fujifilm wanted to appeal to more like the later generation, where they're used to smartphone, putting filters on. Yeah. So like once you're taking a shot, you know, you can actually mess around at the back. They have a screen at the back, so you can actually see what it's like, and you can apply filter before it prints out. Okay. So I think that really did upset a lot of people in a way, and so Lomography's one is a pure instant camera. There's nothing apart from very basic control like multiple exposures. There's a plus and minus EV compensation mode. There's also timers, flash buttons, but apart from that, I think that's pretty much it. And by the way, there's no autofocus, so you have to do zone focus.
Wow.
It's a pure mechanical, well, not mechanical, it's still electronic, but then yeah, it's a very basic camera that suits the purist.
Yeah, back to basics. Back
to basics. I think that's what a lot of instant photographer wants, and Lomography has delivered this. I accidentally pressed the button. But lucky there's nothing inside. Yeah. That's not cheese.
Is that cheese? Are you sure?
No.
Eat it.
Oh, it's cheese.
It is cheese. I told you it was cheese. Did we only get one piece of cheese?
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
We're supposed to be filming. Yes. We actually, it was Charlie's fault. She says she was hungry.
I am hungry.
Yeah, but nachos looks good, so we have a bowl of nachos. All right, back to the camera.
Right,
back to the camera. So, yes, I brought this one out. It's
hold it.
This is their last year's champion, I think. You know, like, to me, I think Lomography since 2017 they have released a few really interesting and I think really good camera. This is one of them. This is one of my favorites of all time. I'm not joking. This is one of my favorite instant mini cameras around.
It's really light.
It is light, because well, yes, like most of the Lomo cameras, they are plastic made, and but having said that, it's quite well built. There's, you know, like when you squeeze it, there's no rattles or anything like that.
But it's just, it's so light.
I think what makes the difference is this one has the ultra wide angle. And for an instant camera, it has a relatively fast aperture, so it's very interesting for me, because I like the ultra wide angle for street shots. This is really amazing, and then also because of the fast aperture, that means I can actually shoot a lot more in low light. And the latest Instant Square camera kind of follows the same design, because this one is also one of the few Lomo cameras that actually have a glass lens.
Right.
Because majority of Lomo cameras, they're more kind of like toy-like, so they have a plastic lens, which means that it comes out a little bit soft. So this is actually really sharp.
Yeah.
So the Instant Square camera also have a glass lens. You can actually see this actually coated, so it's got a color on it. So it's really, really sharp. And then also in terms of construction, it's very similar. It's got a very solid feeling. Again.
Good job there's no film.
Yes, good job I haven't loaded a film yet. And which I'm going to talk about, you know, one of the downsides of this is actually where you place this button, which is you can actually quite easily accidentally touch it. As demonstrated by me a few times already. But yeah, other than that, it's actually a very good camera, and you know, like.
So it's quite sensitive as well.
It is very sensitive. Well, I think all the instant cameras are quite sensitive. The buttons, even this one's very.
Yeah, I guess if it was too hard to press, you'd get all that.
Yeah. Exactly. The camera shake.
That's the one.
Camera shake. But yeah, because this one, well, might as well talk about it now. You know, because the actual button itself is where the logo is, and because it's flush to the body. You know, there's no definitive feeling. There's no definitive feeling that is the button. You know, like you're kind of holding like, oh, you know, just part of the camera in a way. I know it's aesthetically looks really cool. You know, oh, that's the logo is the button. But when you're holding shooting, you know, like you might get confused a little bit.
So I guess on the plus side, it's good because you minimize camera shake quite a lot. But at the same time, there's quite a lot of room to accidentally press it.
Yes, and I think it's also the placement of it, because this is where the grip is. You know, when you're holding it, it's quite easily you can quite easily press it. And that one, however, you got a more kind of feeling of an actual button. So like when you hold it, you know that's where the button is, and you kind of stop it. You get used to it, but then like I demonstrated, you could easily waste a few films by that. So I think these two cameras. To me, I think it's Lomography's champion in terms of instant photography. You know, they have a lot of instant cameras since the I think 2013-14. They started introducing a lot of instant cameras, but these two
because people started like printing off their Instagram photos. Was that?
I think so. And also, I think the overall instant photography market is exploding. In the last 2-3 years.
It got cool to like print off your.
A lot of the younger generation, like Charli, you know, like you know, you know, they really kind of into this instant photography thing. I think not only they think it's cool, it's more like because they're so used to digital cameras where they see things on smartphones, on computer screens, and to them a print is very, very refreshing. You know, like you know.
And also it's rare. It's almost like when cameras first came out and you were like, oh my goodness, look at this printed out photo that I can keep forever. Like it was almost going back to that because we were so used to not having that.
I think that's the thing though, isn't it? And rarely people print these days. You know, like you don't really see actual prints. So when people actually hold one physical item and they say, oh, that looks so cool, you know, like, and I think that's kind of what brought all this instant photography back as well. And you can see, you know, a lot of them are using on weddings now, you know, as a kind of like a gift. So it's actually quite cool. I think that's what drives the overall market coming back in. By the way, you know, Instax is very different to Polaroids. Even though they are both instant photos, but they follow different chemistry, different actual design. So I don't want to dig into too much technical details, but they're very, very different things. Format very different as well. You know, the Polaroid slightly bigger prints. And this is slightly smaller. Even so, that Square and this one is slightly smaller than the Polaroid Square, and the landscape one, obviously this is mini, so it will be even smaller compared to the Polaroid landscape one as well. But in terms of fun, I think they're very equal.
Yeah.
You know, if you are into instant photography, or if you haven't heard of it, they are a lot of fun, which I'm going to demonstrate later with Charlie. Hopefully we can get some cool shots going. But I keep looking at the bowl, so we finish this first. Hungry Charlie. No good, not professional.
It is so professional to feed a model.
Okay, oh yes, true. That's true. And me as well, as the guy. So I'll just take it and leg it.
No, wait, what are you doing?
Actually, no, she chipped in.
Okay, so what are these lights on the side?
Right, these lights basically tell you how many films that's still available in the pack. Oh. So each pack has 10 shots, so you know, that's where the 10 lights come from. It also has an indicator, which means that whether your camera is functioning or not, because when it flashes, that means you put a fresh pack in, it's ready to go, but not necessarily mean that you can actually take a photo straight away because it's still flashing.
Right.
So you have to take one shot first to get the cover out first, before you can start shooting, and then after that it will start counting down basically, you know, and then you'll see the light goes off one by one every time I take a shot. So Charlie, you did play around with the camera a little bit. What do you think in terms of build quality?
I think it's good. Like, I wasn't like, it's not too flimsy. Like, you're scared that you're going to break it. Like, I'm clumsy. So when you gave it to me and when I was loading the film, I was a bit like, oh my god, I'm going to break it. But actually, yeah, it wasn't too bad. But it's still like light enough that it's not like bulky and you're not kind of.
Yep.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So
I know.
It's not too flimsy, but also at the same time, it's not like massively bulky or anything like that. So
I do agree. Nice. I do agree as well. And if you compare to some of the older original Polaroid cameras, which they are actually quite heavy compared to this, so this is actually, in terms of portability, is actually very good because it's lightweight. And build quality, I think, is good, very well put together. But having said that, it's still a plastic camera, and it's not a drop-proof thing. So you know, you still kind of want to handle with care, especially. It's a mechanical camera, so it's got a lot of moving part inside. So like, you really don't want to kind of treat it really roughly, you know. Like, and if you drop it or if you bang it with someone hard, you know, there's a likelihood of breaking some sort of moving part inside, like the spring or something, you know, that pushes the film out, you know, that could break. So yeah, I think overall it's good, but like all instant camera that I tell people, you know, just be careful with them because they're not unbreakable, you know. Like, and so just, you know, be careful because there's so many moving parts inside, so many things you can go wrong. But overall, I think I'm still happy with the build quality from this Lomo camera.
Treat instant cameras with respect. They deserve our respect.
Love and passion. So what about the image quality of this thing? I think it's better to find out about the shots that we just took. Yes? Ready for that?
Jimmy's hat's in our picture oven.
Yeah, this is the picture oven. What do you think?
I like that they've developed a bit more than we saw them.
That is really nice. Yeah, I really like that one. And actually, you know, like I said before, you know, this is one of the few Lomo cameras that actually have a glass lens, which means that they are very sharp, and indeed they are very sharp. And if you compare to some of the other Lomo cameras that you've seen before, and this is definitely, you know, in another league basically on its own. It's fun. I mean, we play around with some double exposures. It really is a fun thing to do, and I know this camera, if you buy the deluxe pack, or you can actually buy it as an accessory, you can actually add on a lot of stuff to it as well, like the what they call the splitster. Basically, you put a cover in front of the lens, you can take half shot at a time, or even quarter shot. Okay. So the creativity side, from the creativity standpoint, it's unlimited. So you can do all kinds of things with it. You can do multiple exposure. You can do unlimited multiple exposure. You can put gel for the flash, so you can put colors on it.
Oh, cool.
So you can actually, you can actually have a lot of fun with these things and just basically let your mind, your creativity control, everything.
Yeah.
And there's no limit to what you can't do, as long as you experiment it and know what you're doing. And like what we did before, there are a lot of experiments that we did, and some did turn out, some didn't. And
so that's probably one thing to talk about. So I wouldn't have known. So when it got stuck.
Yeah.
On this one, how do you get it out? Because if that had been me, I'd have been, oh my god, my camera's broken.
We're just trying to take another shot, trying to force it out.
Right,
and usually, because I think sometimes it jams for instant photography. It's quite a common thing. You see, there's a little hook inside, basically trying to hook push the film out.
Yep.
If that kind of go halfway and it slipped, so that means that it didn't quite push it all the way out.
So is it better then to do so we lined the shot back up to just try and take it? Is it better to do that?
You can, but it's not going to be the same anyway, because you're not on a tripod. So every time you move a little bit, it's going to be slightly different anyway. So I don't think it matters that much.
Okay.
Just trying to push it out.
Cool.
But apart from that, I think it's pretty cool. The only thing is because you're not looking through the lens like most of the instant camera. You're actually looking through the tiny little windows on the side. So you're not directly lining up with the subject. So you might find that when you place the subject in the middle of the window, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're placing the subject actually in the middle of the frame.
Right.
So that's why every time I have to adjust slightly to trying to get it as centralized as possible. So that's why you can see it's just slightly, just slightly off.
I don't know if you guys can see that,
but I think that over time, once you use it for a long time, you do get used to it, then you know kind of what sort of distance you need to adjust. But still, it's not going to be 100%. Every time it's still going to be a more like an experiment.
But that's part of the fun and charm of an instant camera.
Of course. This is all fun. It's just really awesome just to the birds coming to visit us again. Hi, bird. So I think the big question is, do I like it or do you like it? Do we both like it? I think it's easy, yes.
Yeah. Oh, I have one that we didn't look at. Let's do a live reaction to that. Oh my goodness! It's like a double exposure from the other one.
That's a brilliant accident. That's a really cool one. Actually, that's weird.
That is cool.
Yeah, that's good. That is really good.
Okay.
All right. Okay, there you go.
That was a positive reaction.
Right. Anyway, so it was a fun video. I think not fun video. It's a fun camera.
It's been fun making this video.
It's a fun video. Like I told you, this is the third time we're filming it, and I think this is the successful one now.
Yeah, we had a little bit of rain. We got scared, but we're here.
Yeah, we're here in the end. So this is good. So anyway, I really like this camera. I think it's definitely one of the best instant square cameras, although there are only two in the market, but this is the better one, I think, and I definitely would choose this over the Fuji version because, like I said before, this is a purist camera, purist instant camera, and you saw the result. It's sharp and it's really good, and it's just a fun thing to do.
Yeah, I think as well, if you are allowing yourself to kind of make mistakes and not have that digital, I can change that kind of thing, like with the other one where it's gone wrong. But actually it's really cool, if you kind of go out with no expectations as well, I think you can really surprise yourself with it.
Yeah, and you really, once you get used to the camera as well, and you can kind of let your creativity take control, and you can play around with the settings, play around with the accessories that come with the camera, like the color gel for the flash, the splitzer allow you to do different kind of compositions in camera, multiple exposures, all kinds of stuff you can play around with it. They're all very simple stuff, but it creates some really fun results, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. So overall, I think it's a really good camera. Definitely, and I wholly recommended it if you're into instant photography. Instant photography. If you haven't tried one before, and I think you should really try instant photography because it's something very different, very unique, very refreshing. Especially if you are very used to using your smartphone or digital camera, you can actually physically feel the photo, which is actually quite a nice thing to do. By the way, I'm cold and freezing.
Yeah, it's still freezing today.
It's still freezing, and but at least it's not raining, so I guess
no,
it's good.
We beat the rain.
We beat the rain, finally.
We won.
Third time, yes.
Yeah. If you enjoyed that, make sure you subscribe. It's like over there.
Somewhere here. Yeah, and if you forgot to check out Charli's in previous videos, and this is her handle somewhere there. Anyway, see you next time. Bye.